To access all full body language videos, breakdowns and analysis, alongside the game that I can't feature here on YouTube, check out the Patreon, the link is in the description. Thanks.
Yo, everyday superpower. What's good, people? Where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Yo, let me put you onto something then, yeah? Speaking to you, the man. This is about principles, this is about masculinity, and this is about upholding particular boundaries that not many people do, and when they don't do it, not only do they let themselves down, because it has a knock-on effect through a multitude of different characteristics and facets of who they are and how they're perceived, but it's a big turn off for women. It's a big turn off for women. So I'm talking about the man who doesn't follow through with his word, okay? Or the man who doesn't take his word as serious as he should do, right? The world's full of so much bullshit. The world, like, how many dating like clips and stuff of people have you seen come up where they've been so brazen about how men lie? Oh well, women do this and then men lie to them, get them into bed. Don't we all do it, bro? No. Men lie about their height. Men lie about other things. There are certain elements which is like a collective unconscious of masculine insecurity where men just lie. And it's like, to me, if you lie about one thing where you don't need to, I can't trust you for good because you lie about other things you don't need to. I understand white lies. I understand social lubrication as to why you can't be brutally honest every moment of every day of every second of your life. That's completely understandable. Yeah, that's almost a necessity. But when it comes to promising something, utilizing the word promise and then not going through with it, that's disgusting to me. That's disgusting to me. And I remember that sort of stuff. If anybody has ever lied to you to a point where it's been to your detriment, never, ever, 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 ever be so foolish to trust that person ever again, because it's a showcase of their character and what they're capable of, right? If somebody can do one thing, they can do it again, right? And you think, well, what do you mean by that? No, people can change. Well, it's just like, well, you would cast judgment on a murderer, right? And say he's murdered someone before, so I best... Do you think it's not in his capabilities to do it again? So if somebody does one thing, no matter what it is, if somebody says something, if somebody behaves somewhere, I don't care whether it's under the influence or not, they have the potential to do it again. It's within their character, right? It's within their sphere of what makes them unique. So if somebody lies to you, they're a liar. You can keep them as close as you want to, but understand that you can't trust them to the degree where you might trust somebody else. When it comes to men sticking by their word, I want to tell you a story. Well, no, I'm going to give you a story that exists in every workplace across everywhere. You will know these people. You might be this person. If you are this person, it wouldn't surprise me, because this is a very common individual and a very common element of workplace communication. Oh, I hate this place so much. This place sucks. I don't want to work here no more. I'm gonna be gone by the end of next month. I'm gonna be gone by 2 months. Oh, I'm leaving soon. Blah blah blah. And the person never leaves. The person consistently exists in this state of emotional turmoil, or at least expressing dissatisfaction of the choice they made to work there. They didn't get put in slavery. They chose to work there. And they sit and they whine and they complain about their circumstances and how they don't like the company, they don't like their colleagues, they don't like this, that and the third. And they never leave. And what is the cherry on the cake is the fact that they say they will leave. Do you know what this is called? This is called the spineless man. There is nothing that turns a woman off. And you speak to women about this. Yes, it's coming from a man's mouth. But I have garnered this information off of women, right? You ask the women in your life, how repulsive to you on a scale of 1 to 10 is a man with no backbone, is a spineless man. Ask them. And that is what you are, at the very least indirectly, if you don't abide by your word, if you lie to yourself, most importantly, if you say you're going to do something and you don't follow through with it, if you promise something but don't take into consideration the serious context of making a promise, that woman is going to be repulsed by you. And you as a man should be repulsed by that behavior yourself. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if I'm speaking to someone right now who has these characteristics or doesn't, apply the same degree of a serious perspective on what I'm discussing. Because you've come up in a group of people who have just wish-washed their way around this. Just bullshit is just a part of the game. Lying is just what a man is, right? Oh, we always lie to get in her pants and stuff like that. No. If she's talking to you, if you're doing something, why would you need to lie? You've got 80% of the situation sorted. You know what I mean? She's interested in you. She's fascinated in you. The only reason you're going to lie at this point is if you're insecure. Then you need to look inside and straighten that shit out. You know? The man who doesn't abide by his word is a weak man. And you are a weak man, given you know this man doesn't abide by his word, but you continue to trust him and you continue to believe that he will be there at that time, that he will do that he will do this, that he'll get that to you at this time, and so on and so forth. As a boss, if your subordinate doesn't follow through with promises, bruh, they're going to have to see the door very soon. And the thing is, they've given you a showcase of their character and who they are. If they've turned up to the job interview and lied to you, is that a good first impression if you've clocked onto it? And this is where people say, oh, everybody lies in job interviews, right? You see, this is how deep this shit runs. No. Some people don't need to lie in job interviews because they have accumulated self-understanding and experience and put into action, competent action, that has given them a worthiness to understand and have a genuine belief that they are more valuable to that job than that job is to them. Real talk game. That's called leverage. This is the human dynamic you need to get into. So no. We don't all lie in job interviews. And the thing is, when you don't have to lie, you don't have to fear rejection because you have a true understanding of your own worthiness for the cause. Why would I waste my time lying to you? Do you think you're worthy of me trying to impress you? You see where we're coming from here? Do you see where we're coming from? This is how these women will perceive these men. Last thing you want to be is spineless, and spineless is synonymous with dishonest, untrustworthy, snake-like. That's some game. Click like and subscribe. Peace. Everyday superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. I got some good game for you today. Some empowering game, some real game. This isn't nonsense, to say the least. This is really good stuff, and I know this wholeheartedly through my own personal journey and experience, right? There is incredible power and benefit in not being the best, in not being the top of the ladder, in not being the dominant force, in not being the leader, in being what society deems the weaker position. Nah, it's all dynamic. And it's about how you perceive your position, how you play your position, and how you find and garner and understand room to maneuver in your position in life and in hierarchies and in social groups and in friend groups and so on and so forth. Over here, we get sold a dream that we need more tenants' rights, and the landlord is this, that, and the third, and the landlord has a right to be abusive to tenants, and people get walked all over, and this and that. And that's because we reside in a pimp game. Now pay attention to what I'm about to say, and I'm gonna like cross collaborate this concept with a few different environments, right? We reside in a pimp game, and that is, we need to understand, when it comes to a pimp game, it's a trio. You've got pimp. For the sake of what we're talking about, we'll put pimp in top position, pimp position. We've got the hoe, which is underneath the pimp, but that hoe is above the trick or the John, right? Essentially, we've got the corporate brand, the corporate entity, or the CEO. We've got the salespeople, and we've got the consumers, right? This is an ecosystem that all works together. It's not one person abusing the other person abusing the other person. Each and every person serves a purpose, and the system wouldn't work given that one person didn't do their job. Okay? It's good having a brand like Walmart, but if you've got nobody selling products, the company doesn't work. And if you've got nobody consuming the products, the company doesn't work. And if you don't have management looking over the place, ensuring that everything's running smoothly and dialing in the numbers and ensuring that things aren't, going shipshape. Well, things aren't going, you tell me, things aren't going to shit, to be honest. Then things, are going to be a problem. It's a trio. Now, the man going and paying for pussy, right? He's looked at as a bad person. He's looked at as a weak person. But he has a power that he could shut the electricity off on boss man's house. Pimp can't pay his bills if the trick doesn't give the money to the hoe, right? The tenant has rights. And I digressed there. I was just laying out this image, which applies to any hierarchy of sorts. It's all a pimp game, right? The pimp doesn't want to give the information that the pimp knows down the ladder, because that information will be utilized against the pimp, and the pimp will be diminished in stature and in value, right? If the hoe knows how the pimp operates, knows where he lives, knows his problems, knows his issues, knows his shortcomings, his insecurities, suddenly he's not the larger-than-life entity he portrayed himself out to be initially, right? And this applies to relationships, right? This is no different to your general relationship, right? He's now human. He's now no different to the man buying the pussy on the street, because she identifies, oh shit, wait a minute, he needs him, and if I cut off him, then I can essentially manipulate the pimp into being my hoe, because now I've shut off his money source, because I am working as the middleman. So the hoe understands her value, knows her space, knows her power, knows how she can maneuver. The pimp doesn't want her knowing that information. The pimp doesn't want the trick knowing that information. The hoe doesn't want the trick knowing that information on her and how she works and how blah blah blah, because he can run game on her. The landlord's the boss, yeah, until you understand your rights as a tenant. And trust me, there's a lot of them, until you know what the landlord can and can't do legally speaking, and so on and so forth. Reapply that into the workplace, into the corporate sector. You're working a job, you hate your supervisor, you hate your boss. But you know they're being less than legal in some elements. And trust me, this is the sort of shit why I gotta wear a belly for, right? Because I'm gonna drop you some real game. Given you know who you are and know your rights and know what you are actually capable of, because you have to understand and learn this yourself, either through others or through your own understanding and establishing a education on where you place in the hierarchy and in the structure of things. They're not going to give you this information, because why are they going to provide information to you as a subordinate that minimizes who they are and gives you space to screw them if you want? You work at any workplace, you go work at a warehouse. In 1 month, you will have come across so many clear health and safety issues that you could make a note of, that you could verbalize along the line at some point. Oh, excuse me, I don't think that should be there. That could be a problem, that. And then when it does become a problem and you just happen to be involved in that issue, you know, as a victim, you don't need a job no more, because you can sue the whole fucking firm. If you're a woman, whether you have a man directing this who sees the game, or whether you've got your head screwed on and you're a woman and you're in a workplace, how long is it going to be until a supervisor comes along and starts speaking a little too funny, you know? Maybe you're luring him on a little bit. Maybe you're indirectly garnering his attention, giving him a feeling that things are going in a different direction with you. And then you get a sexual harassment case to put towards this firm. You get the proof, you make the notes. People say that being a subordinate and being this, that, and the third is a bad place to be in. You just don't understand where you are. When it comes to politics, people look at the Prime Minister, people look at the President, they're the spokespeople, they're the face. But who is second in command? Who's around them? Who's pulling the strings and whispering into the ears of these people and having them at the forefront, taking the bullet for them? They say heavy wears the crown, right? You need to understand where you are and the benefit of such. Yeah? It's not always cookies and cream when you are perceived as in a higher position than the next person. No. There's not as much leeway. There's not as much space for maneuver. You become entrapped, right? In a workplace, the moment you go from salesperson to supervisor, now you're wedged between the manager and the salesperson. You become stuck in the sandwich. You're getting attacked from all sides now. For what? Pennies. Seriously, for pennies. They've said, congratulations, you're getting 50 pence more an hour. For that? Let me read my note. Understand where you are. This is an empowering discussion here today. If you come from a poverty-stricken background, understand that you can establish a momentum, an upwards-facing momentum, 100-fold, 100 million-fold, a compounding interest upon that momentum. Once you start to get the ball rolling, that will have you crush any opposition that reside in this nepotistic, daddy and mummy gave me security standpoint. Honestly. You'll have your ears and eyes fine-tuned to getting what you deserve and what you need. You'll have information and education from a streetwise perspective through a position of necessity that just didn't come as a want for those who already had it. Yet we look at them and we feel some degree of envy. We all share one thing in common, and that's we're all going to the same place. We all share the same timeline. Don't go getting lost and confused on the materialistic nonsense that this world tries to shove in your face. The material plane is short-sighted. You need to have a further sight than that and acknowledge a reality above and beyond that which is. Now let me have a look at my notes. I've written, find strength in weakness. Know that everything is balanced. Tenants' rights, subordinates' rights. The position of the underdog, right? Why are people attached to the underdog? People love the underdog. The poverty-stricken. The second hands to the kings and queens. We're all heading in the same direction. Don't judge everything by material success or income. I'm in a position in life where I'm around a couple of people with money, to say the least. Do you know how many stupid people have got a lot of money? I swear to God. It could be gone in an instant. But when you don't come from it and you get it, it's not gone in an instant. Because you know what it's taken to get that. Look at your position, look at where you are. Understand that there's power in weakness. There's power in submittance. There is a duality to all things. Men are obsessed with dominance, or the idea of it. People buy products in relation to dominance. Oh shit, I need to watch this. This is about dominating. This is about being a dominant man. Do you know, I seen a funny meme the other day about, you know what I mean? Don't worry, bro. You don't need the 48 laws of power. You know what I mean? When you're in fucking McDonald's, which is the truth, innit? It's like people love the idea of this shit, but it's just, if you don't understand, assess, and undertake your own route into things, when you don't forge your own path, it's all been done before. You're going to hit a glass ceiling. You're not going to go nowhere. Everyone's obsessed with dominance in the realm of masculinity. You're ever so powerful to the same degree in the submissive position. You just daren't accept that, acknowledge that, and look at that. Because it's been sold to you as a position of weakness by those who hold the dominant position, who don't want to give you the information that you have a mirror of power to them. It's a game of chess. I'm signing out. Peace. Everyday superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Yo. Comes easier to some, but harder for others. Stems from childhood. I'm going to put you on to some food for thought. You have to be selfish to attain what you want and to be able to garner and give to those in your life who need you, help, assistance. Your charitable action that you feel you need to act on anyway would come easier and be of more benefit to those who need it, given you approach life in a very selfish manner. Do you know, you got friends in your life, family in your life, that drain you. And you say, oh, well, that's just so-and-so. Oh, you can't choose your family and all this and that. Bruh, you got one life to live and you're allowing yourself to live a lesser life, to operate on a lower frequency, to indulge in a space that is beneath you purely down to unwritten rules and regulations the selfish have imposed upon you. Your relationship She doesn't want you to be charitable towards her like she wants you to be selfish for yourself. Because the selfish man is the leader, and the selfish man plays hard to get. He don't play hard to get, he is hard to get. Because he's too busy operating on a level above and beyond those whom are wanting to garner his attention, his interest, and so on and so forth. The natural order is the woman comes second and the man comes first, yeah? They'll tell you it doesn't work that way, but how much do we need to discuss? That's not the way the world operates. Don't fall for the subversion that is implemented with the media, yes? Telling you that left is right, up is down, and you know what else. Look at your brain, look at your chemistry, look at your biological reality, look at your evolutionary makeup, look at the animal kingdom, and understand what is right and what is wrong. The woman will love if you're selfish. You will become the bad boy. You will become the knobhead that all of the Mr. Nice guys hate and don't understand. Why does she always go back to him? He's always like out for himself. He's so selfish and blah blah. Yeah, because he doesn't place himself below her. And the natural order is she's attracted to the man who leads, garners resources, and has the power and the domineering presence and movement and momentum in order to establish a secure, comfortable life for her and her children later on down the line. If he's too busy caring and lifting her up and elevating people that don't concern him purely down to the sake that he feels it's the right thing to do, which is ego-serving anyway, it's narcissistic in its own way, right? Because I feel I need to do it because it makes me feel good, as opposed to genuinely trying to optimize the assistance you give to others. And blah 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 blah. You get to an age where you need to rid yourself of the clutter, whether that be people, objects, materials, hobbies, projects, that doesn't serve you. If you can't receive that which you believe you deserve, you need to look at the weak links of the chain. And although most of that is within yourself, you need to look internally. A lot is external as well. What are you wasting your time on? Who are you wasting your time with? I don't have children. But this should be tenfold, 100-fold if you've got children. If you're letting someone walk all over you, if you're letting someone fuck with your money, if you're letting somebody ruin your opportunity and you've got mouths to feed, what a weak man you are. You see? If anything, you should have the perfect reason to be the most selfish man on planet Earth. No, fuck you, I'm taking that. Because I've got kids I need to ensure are safe and sound, right? And I'm not this extroverted, bang on my chest, primitive man. I'm not that. So I'm not one to go and steamroll my way over people like some of the ruthless sociopaths you will find in life, right? But who am I to say that these sociopaths who climb their way up the ladders of corporate Goliaths and are very successful businessmen and get their way, who am I to say that they're doing things wrong? They are operating at an incredible masculine frequency, right? Garnering resources, garnering power. Dominance is their norm. And although we can attach, you know, a psychological tag to it, something that differs from the brilliance as to which they operate in this cruel world by being the cruelest, it just quite simply can't be denied that we need to somewhat portray and operate under some degree of that to be anything as a man. On a side note, whilst we're here, right, if we're to look at the Dark Triad and the evil in man per se, we've got Machiavellianism, sociopathy and psychopathy, and in the realms of people who are psychos and whatnot and don't feel any emotional value when it comes to stomping on others, when it comes to this, that and the third. Some say that biologically speaking, that predatory nature serves as a benefit for one to get what they need. There is a counterbalance to the societal problem others see within that, psychological tag. Machiavellianism is learnt. It's not innate. Machiavellianism is people reading the 48 Laws of Power and trying to apply it to their life. That's Machiavellianism. That's where it's rooted. Machiavellianism is being strategic and optimizing and being a snake in the grass. Amoral, not necessarily being moralistic. I think a man should have morals, but we have to have our eyes open and understand that we have to be selfish in order to get what we want. Yeah? If you're not selfish, you're not going to be number one. And the women don't want a man who's not number one. The women want number one. Your children want you to be number one. Your children want you to be Superman. And there was an interview with Damon Dash of Rockefeller Records fame. And he says, I want my child to look at me like Superman, but if I'm under employment and I have a boss, how do I look like Superman if my boss is in the same room as me whilst my child is? And although, it's up for dispute, an honourable man might not necessarily care too much on that. We might be too prideful if we're to approach life in such a manner. Sometimes there is a necessary evil, and some people naturally are soldiers as opposed to generals, and they play a better position in that. The majority of men out there are followers as opposed to leaders. The majority of men out there are consumers as opposed to creators. That's completely fine. Both need both. So there's nothing wrong in that. But it's a good perspective to have purely for your own sense of self. I would rather be the boss as opposed to the subordinate, My child won't look at me any different because I'm going to impose on them the best values that I can and try to be the best person I can do in order to ensure they look at me in a respectful manner. But for my own sake, I can use this as a driving force to attain a better momentum in the direction I'm heading, because I don't want to be that person. Be selfish. If you leave me, fuck you, it doesn't matter. I've got everything I need here. If this business deal doesn't go down, fuck you, it doesn't matter. I've got everything I need, I've got better things coming. If you're not giving me what I think I'm worth, then fuck you, it doesn't matter. Be selfish. Oh, he's so rude, he's so selfish. Do you know what? Generally speaking, the word rude is used as a term of endearment by women who've been touched emotionally by the bad guy. He's so rude. What, you're engaging with me on an emotional level? Why is that? Because you wish I respected you more, because you wish I gave you more attention, because you wish I gave you more time? But that's a topic for another discussion. That's just some food for thought. I'm signing out. Click like and subscribe. Peace. Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. I got one for game, one for attraction. This is going to be some food for thought. Might personally delve into a few. Yeah, you know what? I could delve into a few personal tales on this to spruce it up a little bit. Might be a tough pill to swallow for some. Not at first glance, but through actually applying what I'm going to speak to, because the spirit of envy resides in the human animal, especially the men. So sometimes it's hard to take them lenses off and see things as they are and accept things as they are and learn from that. But that's the key, because most people don't want to do that. And when you do what most people don't want to do, you become superhuman in your perception and in your intelligence, at least in your, emotional intelligence and your, applicable knowledge. This is all about communication, so it's all applicable. It's not fancy pseudo nonsense. We're talking about attraction here, and let me read the note I've put down. I've put down, and this should be something for all to think about. You're all going to have your own special stories when it comes to this. There's no chance you won't, unless you're a hermit who lives in the woods and you've lived there your entire life, away from human. I've written, understand attraction or repulsion via people who get women, and listen to those who don't, regardless. So what I mean is, that's just me quickly popping something in my notepad. It might not be coherent as far as the Queen's English is concerned. What I mean to say is, learn about attraction and repulsion through your own assessment and observations of the people around you, preferably people who are actually around you, not like television and media personalities and stuff, although, you can live and learn off of everyone, but the people around you, your friendship groups, your workforce, third parties who you hear through the women you engage with. Learn about attraction through their communications with women before your own. And I say the spirit of envy prior to delving into this, because when it comes to men who are good with women, it's easy to brush it off and say, oh, it's because of this. It's because he's got money. Oh, it's because he lies to them. Oh, it's because, he's got a well-off family. Oh, it's because they just want to get to this person, and so on and so forth, right? Hey, I'm not going to disagree with you, right? We're going to do another video based on that, but I'm not going to disagree with you that there's going to be a particular reason or reasons why these women are interested in these men, but it's important for you to understand that's just the way it is, yeah? When women are interested in you, it's going to be for a particular reason or particular reasons, right? Other men who don't have what you have might look at you and say, oh, it's only because, he's skinny. Oh, it's only because he's got tattoos. Oh, it's only because he is successful. Oh, it's only because he's the manager. Oh, it's only because he's making money. Oh, it's only because of the watch on his wrist. Oh, it's only because of this and that. Everyone will make excuses to pillow the hurt of their ego. But it's okay if they're with you for your money. It's okay if they're with you for this and that. Yeah, you have to play it off well. You have to be intelligent to navigate your relationship if it is for one particular purpose or whichever. You need to be understanding and not naive, because you'll be used and abused for what they want to mine out of you, and then they will leave you once your resources dry. Yeah, we see that all the time. But look at it, understand it, and be okay with it, all right? Especially because I've been in groups of people, right? And there's been beautiful women. And women in particular I've been interested in. And they've been less so interested in me because they're interested in the next guy who has got something they want, right? Understand this is the game. Understand, right? You could be Drake, right? And some women are going to turn you down, right? Oh, no. Who would turn out Drake? Bruh, you don't know because you're not a woman. But be realistic. Drake might remind a woman of their abusive father when they were young, and so on and so forth, right? I'm psychologically triggered outside of my own conscious awareness to not be attracted to this person. In fact, I'm repulsed by this person, and the money doesn't turn that off, the status doesn't turn that off. It is what it is, right? The inner child in me, which is the most powerful force, is having me move away from this character. Okay? This is reality. This is realism. This is biological, psychological reality and norm. Yeah? It exists within each and every one of us. Okay? You're not going to be accepted by everyone, but some people are going to accept and pull a particular kind of person. And that particular kind of person might be someone you're interested in, right? So women who look good, they might not have much going on upstairs, you know, they might not be the most intelligent people, but they've not needed that because they've relied on their good looks to get them by. And they might be interested generally in a particular sort of person who you're not, but your friend might be that person. So you can look at the way these two entities, these two archetypes cooperate and see it for what it is, understand it for what it is, and you will see this pattern emerge through the same criteria of people inside your life over and over again. It is what it is. Now, as a secondary note, I said pay attention to those who don't get women, who aren't very successful with women. And this might be easier to work out, you know. There might be a glaring fault in this individual which showcases why they don't attract the opposite sex, but it's fascinating and interesting to maybe dig a little bit deeper and understand why, you know. Oh, that person's broke as a joke. But he has no problem talking to women. He has no problem dating women momentarily, but they don't seem to hang around. So each and everyone might go through a particular pattern and routine with women, and it always ends out the same way. And hey, this is your relationships as well, right? You will have a particular type, or you will act in a particular manner. You will find yourself going through the motions, even though it comes to an end for a particular reason, or you disagree over something, or something happens to you. Hey, you might get cheated on or something, and you find out, wow, it continues happening. Or in the past, it happened on cycle until I changed this, or I learnt this, and I applied myself in this manner. Maybe I became a little more pessimistic, and so kept a little more distance what I used to do, and I found them problems, you know, disappeared. I might have manifested other problems in different spaces within our relationships and communications, but, you know, at least it stopped that issue, right? So look at the people around you who don't get women, right? And it's fascinating. So I'll give a couple of things, a couple of stories. I go against the grain when it comes to body game. I say, you know, big muscles aren't that important, which I wholeheartedly believe in, because a lot of people who amount nothing to society and are no one have got big muscles because they spend all their time in the gym. They've got all the time in the world to go into the gym, and they're so insecure about what they lack that they feel that if they go to the gym and become the Hulk, it's going to change anything, and they soon find out it doesn't. I know a man who gets good attention from the women, yeah? He's got big muscles. They talk about his muscles, right? Oh, what's it they say? And this is some insider game as well. This is why you need to, you know, essentially be friend zoned with women from time to time when you can do, so you can engage in this depth of conversation with them. Oh, imagine he'll just be able to pick me up and do this and that in the bedroom, right? But you have to think, they've not just looked at this guy's physique and thought about them being in the bedroom together. They've looked at the guy's physique, acknowledged what they can do in the bedroom with each other, with his big arms and strong back and so on and so forth. Because this guy also owns his own successful business, is a millionaire, multi-millionaire if that, is relatively young, in his late 30s, keeps himself in good shape, has a wife and kids, so he's got social proof. He's as straight as can be on paper. and has a little bit of free time to pop in and say hello every once in a while to these ladies. Alongside that, the ladies get together, speak about him, so he's got, the triangulation and the marketability for word to get around for him to establish this reputation. Now, after hearing that, do you think it's purely down to his body? So don't be so short-sighted to just see things as a 1 or a 2-point thing. You have to look at the whole picture and assess and understand that, and then you can utilize and weaponize this information yourself and know how this all works together. Moving onwards, I'll try to keep. I'll try to be relatively vague with this information for my own reasons. But I got a friend. He attracts pretty good-looking women, in all honesty, in his own field. He is about mid-range successful artist. He's not a household name, but he is known. His dating life happens, but it doesn't exist for long. Because although you can be a character, you can be a name, you can have a status, you can go around, there only comes so long before these grown women acknowledge the fact that you're not making anything, you're not making money, and you're living at home. So where do we go from there? And you're not willing to leave because you're too busy with your hopes and dreams of your creative endeavors making you a somebody, which I guess is good, really. But there comes a sense of naivety with it. You have to be as realistic as can be and understand that when you're an adult man, until that takes off, if you're really investing your all into it, until that takes off, a woman past her teenage years is gonna want to find stability as opposed to, a creative, artsy fairy tale wonderland. Because as you get older as a man, at least in the realm of resources and provision and safety and security, your competition is crazy. Within the realm of health and intelligence and so forth, it's in your benefit to keep on learning, keep on looking after yourself, because you're going to excel beyond any man on planet Earth if you keep that up, and that's going to be really to your benefit. But within the realm of resources, you got all these people, these basic people, hey, they've stuck a job for 10 years straight. They could be in the supermarket stacking shelves. They've stuck a job for so long. They've saved up enough money to have their own car, maybe have a mortgage, and so on and so forth. And I know some people come from different backgrounds, but I'm talking about, the people I've come up with. They've spent enough time just sort of keeping their head down, just essentially being a part of the system, but it's worked out well for them because they've gotten to an age now where the women are more interested in settling down, and that settling down comes with comfort, and that person provides comfort. They don't need, to be great big superstars or owning their own businesses and successful in that field. It's not a thing. So this guy doesn't come with the grown man package, but he attracts via the status initially. He might get a little bit of punani in the process, but he's not taken serious as a long-term prospect. That's a little bit of food for thought. Pay attention to those around you. When it comes to those who you try to make excuses about, he's only getting women because he was on television. He's only getting women because he's tall. He's only getting women because, who his brother is, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Don't make an excuse as to why he is, because just as he has the reasons, He might have incredible reasons why he's also putting them off, but they still turn up to him. He still has luck. He still has success, right? I mean, be realistic and see things for... I mean, I don't think we can ever really see things as they are, because my reality is different to yours. But try to really observe and make sense of why and what and how. Okay? On that note, I'm signing out. Click like and subscribe. Peace. Yes, now. Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. I'm going to talk to you about peacocking today. It's a term we all know, or, you know. I won't blanket everyone. Not literally everyone, but generally speaking, people know about peacocking. People who don't know about pickup artistry, people who don't know about, you know, game as such, know about peacocking. And even if you don't, I think it's relatively explanatory if you just, you know, point someone out and say, oh, they're peacocking, and it's quite clear that they are. You know, I think people understand from the get-go what you mean by peacocking, because a lot of people know what a peacock is and what they're, you know, why they're such a marketable bird, really, because of the gorgeous display they put on in the dance of attraction. But I'm going to tell you about how it works. The term was coined by Mystery, unless Mystery learnt it elsewhere. Mystery essentially is the most famous pickup artist of all time, unless we know anyone different. I mean, if you want to call Dan Bilzerian a pickup artist or so forth, you tell me. But he was the most known, and he was a little before my time, I think. You know, he came at, or at least the peak of his notoriety came maybe like a generation, not a generation, but maybe a decade prior to, you know, anything I cared about. So I wasn't really focused on him. I did pick up The Game by Neil Strauss at some point. I mean, who doesn't, you know? But it was very much of a 2000s thing. You know, I heard that book was in every you know, teenage boy's bag, and there was a series called The Pickup Artist and stuff, which you can't find for free on the internet. I've been looking to find that stuff on the internet for free, but you have to subscribe to some BS, and I'm never going to do that. So I'd like to see that. But he coined the term, or at least from my awareness, he coined the term peacocking. The art of peacocking is displaying yourself in such a fashion that it not only provokes attention, but it provokes potential ridicule. Okay? This is the important thing people don't know about. That's why I did this video. I mean, if I was just going to tell you what you knew, it'd be unnecessary. But the idea is to present yourself in a way, or wear an object of such, or act in such a way that attracts potential ridicule, attracts haters, attracts the envious. Within the realm of masculinity, attracts men who hate on you, or point the finger at you, or dislike you for what you're wearing, how you're acting, and so forth. You know? Comments such as, oh, what's he wearing that for? Oh, he's only that way because he uses steroids. Oh, nah, he looks gay. What's he dancing like that for? This guy's embarrassing, have you seen him? So on and so forth. These men serve a purpose because they advertise you to the women. These men do you a favour because this active, clear envy and jealousy and attention given to you, whereas you as the peacocker aren't giving this man attention, delivers a clear symbol of the hierarchy that resides, the pecking order. You are above them because they're looking up to you and you don't even acknowledge them, right? That woman acknowledges that outside of her conscious awareness. It's within her biological reality that she understands who is the dominant within the field. The fact that you present yourself in such manner, with such confidence, with such nonchalance, although you attract the negative attention, although it's clear that you have put that on knowing you will attract negative attention, this isn't the fact that you're just weird. that you're just odd, right? This is the fact that you still look half decent, you still are well presented to whichever extent, but you are wearing an object that is abnormal and shows confidence. That's very attractive, and that confidence comes from the fact that you will be receiving attacks from other people. Nothing crazy, generally, but snide comments and passive aggression. And you are putting yourself on the forefront to garner that negative attention purely, listen to me, for the fact that you showcase that it doesn't bother you, that you brush it off. This is what it's about. You put yourself in harm's way from other men to show that you needn't fear those other men, that you are not frightened of criticism and ridicule and standing out and being the counterculture of the norm. It's not about strictly, I mean, there's so many purpose. There's so much purpose behind it, but most people think that it's purely like down to having a talking point, you know, a reference someone can make to communicate with you. A woman will say, "Ooh, I like your glasses," or "Ooh, I like your hat," or "Ooh, I like your scarf," or "Oh my God, I wish I had a scarf like that," blah, blah, blah. Yeah, once you get talking and so on and so forth, it's so multifaceted that is most definitely a part of it, and that's what people think it is first and foremost in everything. That's the whole purpose behind it. But no, there is a evolutionary biological principle at play here, which is deeper than most people would consider, and that's the fact that you are going out there into the animal kingdom displaying this overt, colourful character, putting yourself in harm's way before the predators, saying, "Here I am," and fending these predators off with no problem whatsoever. You know, in the animal kingdom, you'll go out there, make yourself a target by being vibrant and bold and so forth, making yourself aware to other predators. But within our human social realm, we get attacked through the words. We get attacked through social we get, you know what I mean. No one's going to come and punch you in the face unless you really annoy them so much. And hell, if you are that vibrant and their woman is giving you the attention that you are garnering through them being envious and you being more colourful than them in both the character and the physical realm, hey, you might get punched in the face, but that's the whole point. You're going out there fearless that that's the possibility it might happen, and it's not like you have gone out there consciously thinking, I want to annoy people tonight. I don't think many men want to attract that negative energy. I know I don't, but it's the fact that you have gone out there confident and comfortable wearing this item of clothing, indirectly showcasing that it's fine and it's within your boundaries to be able to put yourself out there like that, because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to you, you see? There's limits. As I just said, it's within your boundaries to act in this manner. If you went and intentionally wore something you were uncomfortable wearing, it's going to manifest through your body language. You're going to look uncertain. You're going to be frozen. You're going to be slow and stuttered. You're not going to be fluid and communicate non-verbally, at the very least, in the way that you need to garner positive attention. It must be something you are actually comfortable with. So, take me for example. When I was younger, I was in a relationship, and in this relationship, she bought me what's called is it a onesie? I think essentially a onesie, right? It's a full body, like pajama outfit, right? And I loved it. It was so comfortable, so cozy, and I became accustomed to wearing this thing when I wanted to relax. Now, later on down the line, I've been in a social group with a whole bunch of women, and someone left a onesie unopened, you know, completely fresh. And I said, yo, can I have that? Because I'm not frightened of this thing. I used to wear these things all the time. I know they're pretty bloody good to chill out in. So she goes, yeah, no problem, no problem. I tried it on. And I was just chilling out comfortable in this public space with this thing on, right? Which might sound silly, right? But that's the thing. It was silly. And you should have seen the way I was getting touched up by these women who were within this social group, and the way they were saying you're fearless and this and that. You know, what could be perceived as like weird and odd and abnormal and something to poke fun at. In the eyes of these women, they were calling me such masculine terms, such as fearless and you just don't care, do you? Like in a uplifting manner, not like in a disrespectful manner, but in a acknowledgement that I am confident. And what do they tell you? Like what's, you know, relationship advice 101? Oh, just be confident, just be yourself. You're ticking both of them boxes when you can push the boundaries of your appearance and peacock in a manner that actually showcases your character, your attitude, and your carelessness, or your carefree, facet of your personality, without it infringing on your insecurities or discomfort. You know? If I walk down the street in that onesie, right, it could be bright pink for all I care, fluffy and bright pink. If I walk down the street in that onesie and a guy says, you look like an idiot, because I know this is completely fine and I can acknowledge where that comment comes from, I can look at him and laugh. And perhaps it's in my power to wind him up even more because I've discovered his thumb screw. I've discovered this random guy's chink in his armour who doesn't know me, I don't know him, but he's come up to me and through this projection has just said, I am insecure and you make me feel insecure wearing that because I see myself mirrored in you and I see my own insecurities mirrored in you, and that insecurity is that I would never ever dare to have the confidence to wear something like that, whether I wanted to or not. That's some game. That's peacocking. And on that note, I'm signing out. Click like and subscribe, people. Peace.